Basketball Breaks. Make sure you check it out.
People Bricks.
Basketball Breaks.
Basketballbreaks.com. Keep it locked.
Once again, on the People Bricks podcast, we have Jan, aka Jan Schwarzenegger.
Oh man. Yeah, what up, guys? I don't define myself as them. Okay.
You do now, it's going on a shirt.
I saw the IG the other day.
Yeah.
He was flexing the guns. I was like, damn. This is like Jan Drago or something.
Oh yeah, well. I give my best. I try my best.
That's crazy. And we've got Julian, Mr. Stats on Stats. He's not flexing anything right now, but it's all good. And of course, have myself, Aaron, aka AC, aka Ace, and aka. So, let's keep it moving. On today's show, what are we getting into, Julian?
Man, we want to talk Rockets, Jazz, and the recent spate of superstar ejections in the league. LeBron, Anthony Davis, KD. Man, who else got chucked from games? DeMarcus hasn't been chucked from a game yet, has he? Sean Livingston got chucked.
DeMarcus has been chucked.
Yeah, this season?
Give you the list. Hold up.
Yeah.
Let's do this. So, this season thus far, KD is leading.
Yeah, he is.
3 ejections. DeMarcus Cousins, true to form as always, true to reputation at least, has 2 ejections. LeBron James has 1 ejection. Melo, remember?
That's his career, isn't it? For Mr.
Yeah,
LeBron James.
very first for LeBron. Melo, remember Nurkic?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he got tossed.
Oh, that was for a flagrant though. That wasn't technicals.
Yeah, but he got tossed though.
Yeah.
Plus, he got techs as well. You know, he's got 3 techs. Sean Livingston.
That was a funny one. That was a weird one. And we'll talk about that one specifically because the league pulled some stuff there.
That one was really crazy, right?
Yeah.
The league did some stuff back office that they just quickly hushed up real quick. But yeah, who else? Anyone else on that list? Stacey?
Yeah, Kyle Lowry.
Oh, you got one as well. Like,
yeah,
I got one. Yeah. I didn't get that.
Yeah, Lowry.
Oh, Kyle Lowry. Okay.
And PJ Tucker.
PJ, yeah. It's on Kyle Lowry. I've not been paying too much attention to basketball north of the border, so maybe that's our fault. Maybe we should pay more attention to the Great White North. But when they don't, what are they doing? They're 3rd seed. They're where we thought they'd be, and they're going to lose in the second round. So,
yeah, as always.
Yeah, exactly. They do the exact same thing as ever. Yeah.
And rounding, not even rounding out the list. Wait, we've got Steph, of course.
Oh yeah. Oh, of course for the chuck. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, Mr. Gumshield and that.
Mr. Mouth guard, yeah.
Yeah, mouth guard, right guard, point guard. Markieff Morris, he got tossed as well. Of course, the all-time champion of at least this millennium, Draymond Green.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. Every time in
4
our show,
Warriors
right?
players.
Yeah.
Listen, Warriors come out
Too
to
much
play.
It's too much chat from them.
Yeah, way too much. Anthony Davis.
AD, yeah. That's his first one as well, yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
The stress is finally getting to him. The stress fracture in his knee is spreading to his skull, yeah.
Bradley Beal. We remember that one.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? Yeah, they had the little, MMA attempt, audition, and whatnot.
Ridiculous.
TJ Warren.
It's a lot. This is more than I expected, frankly. I thought it'd be like maybe a dozen. Like,
This is
I
what I'm saying.
can't imagine how many there are on average, but it feels like they're blowing the record out of the water. And maybe it's just because it's superstars getting them. But
Yeah.
This is the point I want to get to. I want to round out the list. So
how many more are there? You said like 20.
One moment. let me turn the page. TJ Warren and the Joker, Nikola Jokic.
Oh yeah, because that's right. Yeah. That one didn't deserve it either.
Completely devastating my fantasy team. Him and Curry being injured, my two biggest contributors being injured, is just killing my fantasy team and giving Jan a chance.
Yeah, I just wanted to say you're playing right against me right now. Right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Guys, I want to be honest about something. I deleted that app. if anyone's playing me and I still win, can you let me know? Like,
oh, you're a joker.
How do I come up? So I'm just a good GM. I just draft well and let the coach figure it out. We'll make the playoffs. It'll be great.
But yeah, so
I had Nerlens Noel on my team. How do you think I'm meant to feel?
Who did you have?
Nerlens Noel.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
He's great.
Yeah, it happens. But yeah, there's been so many so far this season. That's why I wanted to ask you, what do you think it is? Is it that players are just a bit more feisty at the moment than they have been in recent years? Do you think the refs are a bit oversensitive at the moment? What do you think is going on? Because those numbers, I don't have any comparison figures to say, okay, this year versus last year. That would be quite interesting to do. Might have to do a little quick piece about that.
Yeah.
I'll have to get Mr. Stats on stats.
That's all right. I should have done this before.
Yeah, you didn't do your homework on what is going on, Julian.
You know?
Oh man.
I'll go. I'm sorry.
Yeah, leave.
But yeah, why? What is going on? What do you think that is?
I think it's random. I don't know if games are being called more tightly. I don't know if the referees are more involved. I think it's random. And just looking at what last year, Paul George led the way with 4 ejections, and there's a lot of guys there's like 40 guys with 1 ejection, and then a few guys with 2. So we're talking like maybe 70 ejections overall. Given that you listed like 25 AC, and it's early December, maybe we'll end up with a few more. But the season ends in April. Crazy out of proportion.
Yeah.
I think some of the individual ejections are more interesting than others. Like we have to talk about the Shaw Livingston one, because you watch that tape, it looks like the refs started it.
Definitely.
And that's why Shaw Livingston got 1 game suspension, and the ref got a week. It's ridiculous. Sean should have known better and not done anything with it. But yeah, I mean, what the hell? At that point, it's not like a player-on-player thing. It's like the referee is like, well, you definitely should know better. So no, that baffles me. I don't like that one at all.
No, I agree. I don't like that at all. He was blatantly sort of provoking the situation. He's blatantly provoking the situation. I did forget, of course, this is another ejection monarch, if you like, another part of the royal family of ejections, Coach Pop.
Oh, man, yeah.
He got ejected too.
That's crazy to me.
He actually enjoys it. He just liked it. He likes being ejected.
Yeah, he's an old man. He's probably thinking, it's getting quite late. If I get chucked out of this game, I can just go sit in the back, have a nice cup of tea. I can watch the rest of the footage. We're going to win this game anyway. We'll use that as a learning experience for my team. Yeah. Great. My rookies, I can teach them not to do this. I can do this. You guys can't do this.
Exactly.
I mean, sure enough, I don't think you listed anyone on the Spurs. So
that's true. They're really mild-mannered on the Spurs, aren't they? So it's not really going to happen.
Speaking of mild manners on the Spurs, I hear that Kawhi Leonard might play before Christmas. That's what the rumor mill is saying at the moment on the injuries list, which would be great, because the last time we checked up on him, it didn't look good. He was walking really badly. And also, just on the injury watch list, we'll get back to the ejections, but Gordon Hayward might be out of his walking boot in 2 weeks' time. I don't know they probably said he's out for the year. but is it out of the question for him to come back before the playoffs? Would they even want him to? Would they dare risk it? Why bother? Like, maybe, but maybe since you know you're not going to beat Cleveland, and maybe if Boston accepts that they're not going to beat Cleveland, maybe they bring him back and say, no, we want you guys to have a playoff run together and actually play some games. Maybe that's one reason to get Hayward back more quickly than usual, let him get his confidence back. I don't know, it depends what Danny Ainge. I think if he comes back early, it's because Danny Ainge is either deluded and thinks his team can beat the current LeBron James and whatever mess of players he has around him, or he's decided, no, I just want to get him some reps with Kyrie and with Al Horford. Just like that, so just what I want to knock out on the injury list. Anyone else's injuries, I don't really give a toss about at the moment. I know Steph's out, but he's not the best player on their team. So,
yeah. And they have
hold that thought. Just hold that thought. What are you saying, Jan? On the ejections and the injuries, if you can.
Let me get one point after another. But with Steph Curry, just like, he's injured, but I don't know. It's a discussion if he's the best player on the team or not. But they have 3 other players that are as good as him, and maybe Kevin Durant better. And then I stay with the Warriors with the ejections, because to me, like, we have a lot of ejections right now, a bit over average, like Julian told us. And like 4 ejections from the Warriors. To me, that's maybe the thing that is not random, because like 4 ejections on one team, and on the best team, a team that does not have to do that. Madre mia. And that's to me crazy. Another thing to Kyrie Leonard, what I heard, he is going to come back soon, I think, because he gave his first interview and he didn't smile, he didn't laugh, he didn't bring anything of emotions. We just said, it was okay to not play.
So he was normal, as he normally is, yes?
Yeah, but man, it's so crazy. I never saw him smile in my lifetime. But he just told, he gave his interview, and usually I think the Spurs do anything on purpose. So maybe he will be back for Christmas. I think so. And through the ejections, I think I go with Julian. It's part random, part, in my opinion, Warriors craziness and madness. But I think it's random.
Breaking news, Jahlil Okafor has gone to Brooklyn.
Okay. You know what? That sounds quite correct, actually.
That's 17 minutes ago. Yahoo's got it, NBA.com's got it. I suppose ESPN's got it. Yeah, let's say that's for certain. Okay, well, thank Christ. Good for him. He wasn't going to get any rep in Philly. There's no one else who's going to... He's not a good player. Like, he's not a starting quality center in the league. I don't think he ever will be. Not on a winning team. He could be... He's like a poor man's Al Jefferson. Yeah, I think that's probably the best way nicest way I can spin Jahlil Okafor on the team. He can get you 12 points a game off the bench. Don't expect him to play any defense. Okay. Well, that's just in. A team that didn't need him has traded him to a team that isn't going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm glad he's got a chance to play, at least. You know, he'll probably play him as a big man or whatever, more of a forward than a center. But yeah, at least he's got a chance to play. I think he was sort of disrespected isn't the right word. But
no, I think it's fair to say he was disrespected. He handled himself really well. I mean, to be fair to him, he didn't have exactly... Like, if he'd started acting up, no one would have had any respect for him. Jan just dropped. No one would have had any respect for Jahlil, because this is the guy who knocked a dude out in Boston. So he did the right thing. He kept on saying, like, he said, I want to be traded. I'm not getting minutes here. The team knows that. They're trying to facilitate that. I don't know why it hasn't happened yet. He didn't have a go at anyone. He just said the honest truth. He was relatively professional about it. More so than one would expect given his track record. Well done to him. He's going to get a lot of minutes in Brooklyn. They have no incentive to lose games. So why not just play whoever is their best player? And right now, is he their best player when he suits up with them?
Well, we will see. And again, who do they have at centre? Because who are they forwards? They've got Rondé Hollis.
They've got Rondé Hollis Jefferson. They've got Damari Carroll.
Right.
They've got, God, who else? No one of note.
See, they don't have Lopez anymore.
No. They got Mikhail Prokhorov. Come on, in the age of Russian,
funny.
in the age of Russian oligarchs, and this is the funniest thing. I lived in Shanghai for a little while, and the guy who owns the Shanghai football team, he had on his squad at one time Drogba and Anelka, and he got them so he could then play one half of professional Chinese top league football with them, and a fat old billionaire. So you could play the 45 minutes of actual football with those guys. Yeah. So I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility that Mikhail Prokhorov dons a jersey and gets out there. So who else we got? Trevor Booker.
Yeah. So yeah, basically he'll do all right there. He'll have alongside Prokhorov. To go back to the ejections, firstly, correction for Jan. It's 6. There's 6 ejections on the Warriors.
Okay. That's even more crazy, even more madness to me. Like 6, okay, that's crazy.
Indeed. Led by KD. He has half of those.
Yeah.
But
KD is as well. Like KD is crazy to me. Like during the off season with the Twitter action right now, like I don't know what's going on in his mind.
Well, that's the thing on the Twitter side, because he doesn't have those anymore. He has to let his frustration out on the court.
That's
I like that.
Yeah, I know.
I like that connection. It's true. He's been rumbled on Twitter. He doesn't have those counts no more, so you can't get his frustration. And now we're seeing it spill onto the court. You know what? I think there's something there. We might have to get out the, what do you call it? Get the psychologist couch for him and start going to work. Because now he's on this whole I'm the villain thing. But he reminds me of, oh, what's that song? He reminds me of Biggie. That's a Biggie song where he's like, so you want to be hardcore with your hat to the back, talk about the gats in your rap, but I don't feel that hardcore appeal that you're screaming. Maybe I'm dreaming. And he reminds me of that because I'm not buying this hardcore appeal, this Kevin Durant, I'm the bully. It's not going to happen. Furthermore, as well, I mean, you could try and commend him for it, but Boogie Cousins, of all people, that's who you're going to step to. Please don't do it. I'm not buying it at all. You know that you have.
That was a legit hold me back fight.
The level of hold me back was crazy.
Hold me back, drag me into the locker room, take me to the bench, please.
Yeah, and you know what I don't like about that? Like you said, with the hold me back factor, is that if you look at the footage, and this is why, in the wider sense and in the specific sense of this incident, I have lost respect for KD since he went to the Warriors and his attitude since. Because he's literally got that, I'm running with all the, I'm running with the bullies now. I'm running with all the big kids now. So now I'm going to act out. I've got protection. I've got my guys. I've got my mans in them. So now I'm going to act out. I really don't like that type of thing. If you look at that footage, you see him. He's there with Boogie and whatnot. Boogie lets him know what time it is, gives him a couple of whatever, gives him a little slight headbutt. And KD didn't really want to bar. And then once his guys came around, his troops, all of a sudden, while he's being taken away from the scene of the action, his mouth explodes. And you're like, well, you were just right next to him. So what's the problem? Why are you talking so much now? And I think KD is a lot like that in general. And that's one thing I don't like. I mean, I still like KD as a player and whatnot. But the other day I saw, what are they? Is those the fives? I saw his trainers the other day. I saw his sneaks. And I was thinking, oh, you know what? I think I might kind of like them. I need to buy some new bits for the court. And you know what? No word of a lie. There's a part of me that almost morally cannot bring myself to go and buy those shoes. It's really weird, but it speaks to brand.
I completely understand. I've got the old KDs. They're not bad, but they do slip off a little bit. It's not just that he's got massive feet and he can't get proper sizes. Nike can't sort him out. But his shoes have got a history of slipping off people's feet in game. Stick to mid tops, like mids and high tops. Don't mess around with low tops. The only low tops you get are Kobe's. And I don't think Nike's dropped like an interesting new one that's less than £200. So I'll get I'm not that mad about the new Hyper Dunks. I really like the Hyper Fuses from a few years ago. Those are great. But now just stick with the Jordans. The LeBron Soldiers are better than the normal LeBrons, I'd say. No, they look better. And don't get Adidas. Don't do it.
Why?
Well, I used to work for Nike, so there's a little bit of family love there. Also, I remember, was it 2000? When did they drop the Crazy Light? It was like the lightest basketball shoe ever made, and they dropped it for the playoffs. And the first game was like D Rose wore it, Drew Holiday wore it, load of other their main Adidas guys wore it. Like half of them had ankle problems the game after, because it's the problem with doing the lightest shoe ever. There's no support on it. There's nothing. And that's why D Rose went, I'm wearing my sneakers again. And he still blew out, isn't he? And I don't want to say that Adidas did D Rose like Fila did Grant Hill in the 90s, but there's something wrong with those Adidas shoes if they're selling beside them like ankle wraps.
Wow. But yeah, just not to create a whole new subject matter, but I think it's interesting. Unless Yama to jump in on the whole KD thing, but yeah, I just don't like the way he's acting. Now you feel protected because you've got guys around you, and now you want to start yapping and all of that stuff. But to talk about the basketball shoes, I think it is interesting just from a branding perspective and the consumer's perception. Like you were just talking about with the Adidas, I did have reservations about the D Roses. I really did. Once I started to, and I know in and of itself, it's irrational. It's a bit silly to see one guy go down. But once he did the way he did, I started to think, I started to look at the shoes and think, I don't know. And then obviously there's other factors involved, but I think...
No, mate, they're cursed shoes. They're cursed. There's nothing else to it. Just don't buy it.
Yeah, but I do think who endorses / in many cases these days, you could say designs or helps design, and who wears certain shoes does have an effect on whether or not you buy them. And I just think that's quite interesting, because ultimately they're supposed to be functional, right? But there are other factors involved. I don't know if you guys have ever had that type of thing happen to you, but it really dawned on me the other day with those KDs. I was like, there's something inside philosophically that is just, I have conflict. I have real conflict. I don't know.
No, I get that entirely. Let me tell you some history. The Warriors won last year. Their best player wears Nikes. Cleveland won the year before. Their best player wears Nikes. Golden State again. That was Under Armour.
Steph Curry was Under Armour. So.
Okay, that's an outlier. And their second best player, Draymond wears Nike, and KD wears Anta. Not KD. Klay Thompson wears Anta, or Li-Ning, doesn't he? He's got his own sneaker. Then it was the Spurs. That was Kawhi at the MVP. He wears Jordans. Miami, Dallas, LA, Boston. Yeah, that's all Nike. It's all Nike basically until you get all the way back.
LA. What's this? LA Lights. LA Gear.
Yeah, in 2009 and 10, Lakers won both of those, and that was Kobe and his Nikes.
Yeah. Cool.
I mean, the only time that where a Adidas-led team has dominated was actually most of 2000. Just thinking about it, because when it was the Lakers days and it was Shaq and Kobe, that was Kobe in his pre-sexual harassment suit days. before. Well, he still had the Adidas deal, and then it was the Spurs, and that was like Tim Duncan's always been an Adidas boy. Not that TP hasn't. TP's been Nike, I think, until he signed with some terrible Chinese brand last year or the year before. But we're going so far off topic.
So far off topic. We're going to start talking about copping the new Stephen Marbury's now and
Starbury. There are new ones. That'd be great.
Yeah, what?
$15.
Yeah, what shoes are Lonzo gonna trot out in and all of that and get into all kind of mad territory.
And going then from the big baller brand logo to the basketball breaks logo, and then going
of course.
away.
The true original best
that's it.
logo.
The only triple Bs you need right here. Yeah.
Only triple Bs you need. But okay, fair enough. That's the ejections, unless anyone else wants to quickly sprinkle anything in there.
Yeah, I would just one quick note on KD and the shoes. I totally agree with you. Like, I wouldn't buy shoes from KD right now because, like, when you go to the court and people say, "Oh, you have the new KDs," and I say, "Yeah, I have them, but I don't like 100% love them wearing them because of KD." The shoes may be good and everything, but like KD, you say, "Okay, I have the new KDs," right? And that is why I won't buy them.
You gotta hit the court with a disclaimer. Every single time you step on the court, it's like, yeah, what's going on, guys? Oh, by the way, I do not support Kevin Durant. I'm not affiliated in any way.
That would be good, yeah. But otherwise, KD with now he has his team, his players on his back and everything, but I don't get it. Like, I see Klay Thompson, I see Steph Curry, and I see Jeremy Green a bit, but when you look with Russell Westbrook, I would rather have Westbrook on my back or having my back than the other players. And so the switch of the persona KD, I don't get it. And
he's running with the winners. That's what I mean. It's that whole I cannot respect that. I really cannot respect that.
And I think, like we told before, I think there could be really like psychological problems or something. Thinking, oh, everybody hates me. Everybody is like, it's like the first stage of paranoia, right? Like I read today in a book, kind of things like that. That when you have success and everything, and then you think everybody wants to get your success, the sex of will want to rob the success and everything. So I think that, like, because he's one of the best players to ever play the game. He is winning. He has a ring last year, and now he's going crazy and everything. Like, I don't get it. There have to be some psychological issues he hasn't worked on, and or the environment is maybe they're like way back in the childhood or everything. I don't know, but maybe it's just right now he's in the environment with Steve Kerr as well and Draymond Green and everything, and on the Warriors, and the psychological things come up right now. But yeah, that is difficult to see from far away. But something is on there for sure.
Something definitely is. But like, just to wrap that up on KD being a bit paranoid, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they aren't out to get you. That's a crazy man's claim always.
Yeah, no doubt.
I might be insane, but it doesn't mean I'm wrong.
True. So, what about these Jazz?
Oh, the Jazz. We thought they'd be better than this in the beginning. They're playing well. Like, they're playing still better than we expected. And they're 7th seed, 13 and 12. We thought they'd be in the mix for like 5-6 seed. I think a lot of people, I don't think we were really among them. We thought they'd be better sort of as a group. We gave a lot of love to the coach and to Rudy Gobert. I think a lot of people, a lot of pundits in the summer, when Gordon Hayward left, they didn't really understand what that impact would be. That's a lot of shots you need to fill. And Gordon Hayward is a supremely talented player who can do a lot of things on and off the ball and is a good defender. No, he's not a great defender. He's above average. And I think a lot of people wrongly believed that there were guys on this team who were ready to step up and take over that scoring role, that leadership role, that first option role. I think I said this, I thought Rodney Hood was really underrated and that he would be able to step up, and he just hasn't. A little bit of that's been injury. Like, he's been good, but he's not been, like, he hasn't stepped into like their first option on offense. Alec Burks is still coming back from his injury. He was out for a lot of last season. He hasn't come into his own yet. I don't know what his role is with the league in the future. He should be in the league, but is he a sixth man? Is he a starting two guard on a winning playoff team? Ricky Rubio, as much as we love him and his confidence, he isn't going to be the reason he isn't going to score you points that win you the games. He's going to do everything else for you as an offensive, like a floor general. And as much as we love Rudy Gobert, his contribution is on defense. He's going to be in the running for Defensive Player of the Year every year of his career. He's never going to be in the running for MVP because big men don't get that kind of love anymore. Not like in the days of Hakeem and Charles Barkley, but he's more of a defensive player first. He's not like a Joel Embiid where you can throw it to him on the block and make him go get you 20 points. He doesn't have a jump shot. And we thought they'd be a little bit better because we thought that some of these guys will be able to step up and fill the gap and sort of win by committee. Perhaps we were a victim of this and forgetting that the NBA is a talent-driven league and you need superstars to win you games. And they don't have one, but they might be getting there with Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Skywalker Mitchell. Man, that guy.
Mitchell. DMs. It goes down with the DM.
If Ben Simmons wasn't in the running for Rookie of the Year, and people can, like, even I am not that certain about, he redshirted last year. He was injured, but and he couldn't have played. But I find it, personally, I can't be all up on Ben Simmons winning Rookie of the Year this year. I can't be super pleased and endorse that because a few years ago, I had a big problem with Blake Griffin winning it when I thought John Wall should have won it. My argument was John Wall is better, and he was in the league last year. He was learning. He was getting stronger. And the same thing can be said of Ben Simmons. That's not how the world works. In the way the world works, Ben Simmons is going to win because he's averaging 19, 9, and 8. And give him a bit more time, and he could average 20. He could be one of those. He could be one of like 5 players in NBA history to go 25 and 5 in his rookie year. That list includes Tyreek Evans of all people. Well, the other ones are like LeBron and I don't know if Jordan's on that list. It might be. Probably is. Wilt Chamberlain, maybe. Did he ever average that many assists in his rookie year? Whatever it is. But yeah, if Ben Simmons wasn't having his rookie season now, Donovan Mitchell will be running away with it. As much as we like Jason Tatum, Donovan Mitchell has been insane. And the stupid thing is, if you take out his first 5 games, his stats are like he's averaging 20, 6 and 4, like overall. If you take out his first 5 games, and right now he's still averaging like 5. Well, let me have a look. Someone else, give us your 2 cents on Donovan Mitchell. I'll get the up-to-date stats on him.
Yeah, like he's playing quite incredible. Like some dunks that I saw, like it's crazy. Like
it's insane.
Yeah, it's just crazy. And I think he's really like a big part of the Jazz. I think like if I'm not wrong, they have like a long winning streak more or less, right? Because they start really bad, if I'm not wrong. And other thing, because obviously, as you guys know, and some of the people that are listening, I'm a big Wolves fan, and Ricky Rubio started good, but now he's back on the Ricky Rubio type of playing. He's not playing bad, he's not playing good, he's playing just average. And right now, like I'm a bit frustrated with him because I thought maybe in a different environment he will be playing better and finally fill up his potential, but he's not that good. And yeah, but in general, I think the Utah Jazz right now, Rudy Gobert coming back, they will end up probably in the 5th or 6th seed. But the thing, the OKC is still not on a playoff seed, right? So they usually
there's a lot of problems in that team. There's a lot wrong with OKC. The main problem with OKC, they have all the potential in the world. They cannot win on the road, and they cannot beat Western Conference, like good Western Conference teams.
Yeah, but so I think the thing is like Jazz are going to a 5th or 6th seed, I think, but we have to take in consideration that as well OKC, in my opinion, like they will work sort things out, and they will rise to the playoffs. In my opinion, they will do that because we are in December and there are a lot of games left to play, so to say. But you have the stats.
Yeah, I mean, we can go on and on about OKC. I mean, their records aren't that different. Like OKC is 11-12. Utah and New Orleans are both 13-12. But I'm now much more worried about Oklahoma than I was maybe 2 weeks ago when we were still able to make this like small sample size argument. Oh, they haven't played everyone. They haven't done so. It's early December. I don't think the sample size is that small anymore. And there's a lot of fundamental problems with how they play. And they still haven't really figured out their hierarchy. Russell Westbrook is still deferring a little bit too much. There's people already saying they should trade Paul George. The fact that people are even writing about that means that serious NBA analysts think that this can't work out. And like I said, they can't win on the road and they can't beat teams in the West. So they have to wait for the 30 teams in the East to come to their building and hope that they beat them. But anyway, on Utah and on Donovan Mitchell, he's averaging 17, 3, and 3. And the last 3 games, last game was 31 points. Game 4 that was 21. Game 4 that was a Utah rookie high of 41. And that was incredible. He's got it all, and he's supremely confident. His jump shot is improving, as one would expect. Again, his percentages are going to be skewed because he didn't shoot well in the beginning of the season, but he's got decent form. He's really good about the rim. Like he's good above the rim, as we can see, but he's got this little like same foot layup, where like off foot layup, where he's sort of throwing the ball up early, sort of scooped half a step sooner than his defender thinks he will. It's all like a Tony Parker move, but just because he's not super tall, he's bulky. Donovan Mitchell is stronger than Tony Parker ever was, or could be, or hope to be. But this is still the NBA, and he's surrounded by big defenders. And maybe it's the case of training against someone like Rudy Gobert. You learn how to play around big men. And Donovan Mitchell has figured it out already. It's baffling. He's a really good offensive talent. I don't know about the floor general capabilities. Thankfully, it seems like they're playing him alongside Ricky a lot. And like you said, Jan, Ricky he's come back down to earth. Like, he's still confident, but he's still a great assist man. Still a great defender for his position. So
listen, I just want to let you know, right? Ricky Rubio, let me tell you about this whole thing with stats. Ricky Rubio is number 4 in the list of clutch leaders, right?
Because he doesn't turn the ball over. He doesn't turn the ball over.
Right. LeBron, then Kyrie.
Whoa, wait. Since when was Kyrie below LeBron?
Since recently.
Well, that's the thing, because Kyrie ain't playing clutch games. His team's just winning in the third. Like,
yeah. Regardless, that's what I'm saying.
Make everything happen in the last 5 minutes of a game.
Listen, man, statistics. You know that I would say. You know that I would say, right? Well, there you go. You got LeBron, followed by Kyrie, followed by Dion Waiters, yeah, followed by Ricky Rubio, who's actually above KD in clutch situations. So wow. You can't always rely on those stats. I think Ricky Rubio has certainly reverted back to the Ricky Rubio we all know and don't love. But,
I love him anyway, but
but I think like those sort of statistics, they don't just mean like number of points scored in clutch situations. It's like efficiency as well. So maybe he's not taking as many shots as someone like KD has to, but it's also to do with assists to turnovers. And I mean, the last time I checked, Kyrie hadn't had a turnover in the clutch, which is insane.
Yeah, it's your percentage really. Like you said, it's efficiency. It's your field goal percentage, your 3-point percentage during those last minutes of the game. But talking about the Jazz, Donovan Mitchell, I can't disagree with anything you said. If we were in a Ben Simmons-less universe, he would be my runaway Rookie of the Year. runaway. This
Which
guy.
is to say because Jason Tatum has been really good.
I know, that's the thing. It's not like no one else has been doing anything, but jeez. Jason Tatum's been very good, and behind him you can speak about guys like Kuzma and all kind of stuff. But wow, Donovan Mitchell, I watched him yesterday. Yeah, he's the real deal. He is the real deal, Holyfield. He looks totally comfortable in the league around all these other players, big guys. I mean, yeah, man, he's the real deal. So the Utah Jazz now, they got back Rudy. So maybe
they got him back early, right? I mean, I thought he was going to be out for like another month. But
so did I. I was surprised when I saw him lining up. I thought, oh, okay. So they've had him back for a little while now, and I think they will still maintain a respectable position, as in, they will get into the playoffs. As we spoke about a little bit earlier off air, the way the Western Conference positions are lined up at present is a little bit more to do with the incredible ineptitude of the Los Angeles Clippers and the complete mess of Oklahoma at this moment in time, and their inconsistency. But I think the Jazz can still be respectable. I don't know. We did put them around that fifth type of spot kind of thing, but I think generally speaking, they're kind of doing what you expect them to do. Maybe we thought they'd have a bit more cohesion, but I think right now, with the way guys are playing, I think they are trying to just shake things about and see, okay, who really is who here? The Donovan Mitchell thing, we don't know what they thought, but his level is certainly a surprise. I always thought he was a very good player, but this level, I thought, this is different. So I think they're trying to work themselves out a bit. I think they'll be okay. They're gonna play the Houston Rockets tonight.
Yeah.
What do we have to say about the Houston Rockets? They are leading the Western Conference.
They're leading.
James Harden is balling out.
They're insane. They're also the only team with the top 5 offense and top 5 defense, which is the reserve of championship level teams.
Yeah.
And now they've got Chris Paul back, and they've been staggering their minutes so that Chris Paul and James Harden don't spend too much time on the floor together.
Indeed.
But yeah, they're 18-4, which is, pretty incredible. We thought they'd be second, third seed. We thought Golden State would run away with it, and that they'd be up there with San Antonio vying for second place, and San Antonio wouldn't care. But this team has been amazing. And I've said it before when we've mentioned them in passing, that I find their brand of basketball quite boring. I really like the old D'Antoni Spurs under Steve Nash. That sort of offense was really fun. I think it was because Steve Nash was a sort of player that I aspired to play like when I was on the court. But I find it relatively dull. I wouldn't go out of my way to watch a Rockets game. But as just a general fan of basketball and of basketball lore and development of the league, you can't not be impressed with just that team's incredible efficiency to either get fouled, get a layup, or get an open three. And it starts with James Harden. And since Chris Paul got back, I think they've been I'm pretty sure if you take only the games that they've played together, when Chris Paul and James Harden have both been on the court, this team has been number one in offense and defense. And I think essentially I saw something about some on-court, off-court projections for them earlier today, where they're actually better when one of them is off the court and one of the other is still on. But when they're both on the court, they're still it's like a 12-point differential per 100 possessions. But what they get when they're both on the court, it still ranks them fourth in the league. And it's incredible. But we sort of always knew they'd have an incredible offense. It's the defense this year that's making the difference. And here's the thing, I haven't seen James Harden on Shoutout in the full yet, so he's been working a little bit harder. And one guy we mentioned earlier, PJ Tucker, is like a poor man's Draymond Green, a little bit more a little bit more agile on the wing, but that sort of player. And I mean, what do you guys think about like their defensive scheme? Because they've got a lot of really great dudes on that squad, like good rangy wings who can happily play long, like stretch four.
They're very good defensively. They've got a lot of those wing guys. They've got a lot of long arms that could just get in and interfere in the lanes and intercept all them passes, and obviously inside and around the rim. I really like the way they look. I like the way they are managing the court time of CP3 and Harden. As you said, they're not playing together that much, but when they have the crossover, it's still great, and it makes me flash back to the summer of those those scrimmages they were having. And I'm happy as well that they've been able to integrate CP3 like that, because I was a little bit worried. I did say a couple of pods ago, I was worried that he would come back. There would be a little bit of friction, not necessarily personal friction, but just in terms of playing on the court. And they may not win at as high a clip as they had been, and then people would start to direct all of their sort of all the blame at CP3, who is still a fantastic player. I seen the other day and I'm like, this guy he is special. James Harden is incredible. I find it quite funny to watch as well, as in actually comical. It's just the way he plays is just unbelievable. There's nothing you can really do against him. I'm quite high on the Rockets. I don't find them as boring, I suppose the word is, to watch as you do, Julian. But I do understand the sort of, it does get a bit, I suppose, monotonous the way they play. But yeah, man, I'm high on the Rockets. I like them a lot. And one player I just want to highlight, there are many great pieces. Eric Gordon. And the reason why is this. We know that he was playing incredibly last year. 6-man, all of that. He can hit threes like with the best of them on their squad. This season, he's not really hitting threes like that. But I'm seeing him put it on the floor, and I am super impressed with how he's playing from that perspective, putting it on the floor, getting to the rack. I'm like, hey, what? That's Eric Gordon. Okay, he is balling. Trust me. Considering that his shot isn't going down at the level he's used to, he's showing versatility. I think they're nice. Can they ultimately upset the Warriors? I think they've got a chance.
I think they've got a chance. I would put my money on the Warriors still.
I didn't say they're the favourite, but I think they've got a chance.
How many games would they win in a series against?
In my opinion, maximum 2 games they would win. But that's the thing, like because I agree with everything what you said. I want to see them playing in the playoffs, because right now it's going everything.
Because they've sucked for years in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's it. And CP3 with his teams as well. So I just want to see if minus and minus is plus in the end in the playoffs or not. And that's the thing, like, I want to see, right? And right now they are rolling like a machine, like crazy, really, really good. And especially, I wish CP3 he will have success in the playoffs, because he is a person I admire as a person, as a player, of course, as well, but especially as a person. When I see interviews with him or off basketball things about him, he's a clever dude and he's a nice guy. And I would buy his sneakers and wear them with proud and say, okay, I'm wearing a CP3 sneakers here on the court. But yeah, apart from the CP3 thing and the playoff thing, I agree what you already have said. Yeah. But anyway, the Warriors, they are just too good.
They're too good. You can't bet against them. They're the champions, right?
That's the thing. Yeah. And in Draymond Green, we talked about that. Like, he said, okay, we won't take it that serious in the regular season, and they don't have to. And I think in the end, it will be difficult to beat them. But I would love CP3 and James Harden to beat them, but we will see.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's a very valid point about minus and minus making plus. I think that's a very valid point because James Harden last year was like, what is going on? He's got doppelgangers out here. Because that dude that played for Rockets in the last game, I don't know who that was. That was something else. And CP3 as well, unfortunately, his playoff record is not impressive. So
it's for a different reason. I mean, James Harden seems to have checked out of games and been. I would say this about the Rockets as a whole, but I think it's for different reasons, like why CP3 has never really made it work and why James Harden never seems to have made it work. James Harden seems to just see the limelight doesn't seem to suit him well in the playoffs. I don't know what, maybe the pressure he just collapses under. I don't know what it is, or maybe it's just that teams can really prepare for you. Whatever, he has faltered. For CP3, I think it's more injuries. For CP3, it's always been injuries. If not to him, then to his teammates. So I'd give CP3 more of a pass. Like when their careers are over, I'll give CP more of a pass than I would James Harden. But
me too. Yeah.
Like not for the Rockets. Like as a team when it comes to the playoffs, here's the thing about them. They have the privilege of running with one of the best, most efficient, explosive offenses in the history of the league, right? They can chuck up threes like no one else. They can score 150 points in a game and we wouldn't be surprised. They get to do that while having the privilege of playing teams like the Suns, Kings, Mavericks 4 times each per year. Now, that really helps your efficiency. That really helps out your rankings more than, say, if you had to play, I know there are bad teams in the East, but Cleveland isn't going to have the chance to play and also I forgot about the Lakers. How many bad teams can someone like Golden State? It applies to Golden State as well. But teams like Golden State and Houston play such terrible teams, make themselves look amazing. And here's the thing: you play fast like that, the game slows down in the playoffs, and teams can hone in on you. And Mike D'Antoni has also got a terrible record in the playoffs. So, I mean, yeah. Negative and a negative together make a positive, but then you add another negative back in there, then you're swallowing down the toilet bowl again. Here's the thing: we could talk about how many games could they win against the Warriors, and I agree. I think if they did manage to make it to the conference finals, they'd be out in the 6 if they're lucky. But I'm worried that could they get out of the second round? I think there are so many question marks still. They're that good, and the defense is amazing. And it's not just PJ Tucker. It's Luke Rashad and Bahamute. It's Trevor Ariza, Clint Capella, CP. But you have to be worried about them because what happens if they play? I mean, if the playoffs happen right now, they play New Orleans, who they should beat. But you can't quite dismiss Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins, 2 top 12 talents, maybe top 15 if you want to be conservative about it. Chris Paul isn't a top 15 player anymore. James Harden is, but James Harden's probably top 5 or 6. But you can't not be worried about that. Assume they get out of that and they play the 4 seed. That's Minnesota. Jimmy Butler can stop LeBron James when he wants to. He could. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. In a matchup, Jimmy Butler against James Harden, I'd take Jimmy Butler.
Me too, and not because I'm a big Wolves fan, but just because Jimmy Butler is a dude he can play in the playoffs and he can destroy anybody on both ends of the floor, and that's the thing. Right now, the defense looks great from the Rockets, but it's another thing playing defense 100% in the playoffs. To me, because then it's counting and everything is putting on the floor, or everything is put on the floor, right? So right now, from the feeling, I would take the Wolves in the playoffs, giving real work to the Rockets for sure.
No, I hear with that. As far as Houston in the playoffs, massive question marks all over the place. Seriously, it's flipping. Riddler from Batman. It's Edward Dinkma. You know what I mean? I agree with what you say about the difference between Harden and CP3. The whole shrinking in the moment thing, I don't think you can ever say that to CP3. Ever. Don't do it. But I would just add to that, I think part of what happened to James Harden was also the burden, not necessarily from the spotlight perspective, which is true, but it's just how much he had to do on top of that, physically on the court. That's now been...
Okay, on that, I've heard that argument before.
No, I would add,
he didn't play defense.
Yeah, exactly. But he
carried a team for 82 games. Like, yeah, he didn't play defense.
He showed
players right
exactly.
above.
But he couldn't. That's what I'm saying. I mean, he couldn't. He was, for the most part, doing everything. I think now he's in a position where he no longer has that to fall back on. He is playing much better. Or, defense, there's a lot more effort there. But now with CP3 in tow, now is the true test. Like now it's, okay, there's nothing for you to fall back on. What are you really made of in the playoffs? And like you said, I think Jan said it, when you are in the playoffs and now the game's slower and teams are just loading up, they're loading up on you, they've got game plans and, the lane is a lot more clogged, everything's a lot more static, you haven't got so much movement in there. Boy, now we're going to really see what you're made of. And as far as playing the Pelicans, when they start getting, especially with DeMarcus Cousins, when they start playing in the post and all of that, I'm like, boy, some of those guys are going to get eaten alive. They really are. I think if the Warriors are somewhat underhanded, short-handed, I should say, as a result of probably being underhanded through some kind of Draymond or KD antics, or perhaps if Steph's ankles start to become a problem again in a more sort of long-term sense, then yeah, again, they do have a puncher's chance, as they like to say, but I don't foresee them beating them. And yeah, the Wolves do have a good chance. They do have a good chance against the Warriors. As far as KD goes, if he keeps his poise, like he says, then DeMarcus Cousins will have to choke him out, right?
Indeed.
All right, guys. Well, once again, it's been a pleasure. Another great podcast. Look forward to next week's. And as we normally do, we'd like to say thank you to everybody who was listening to the B-Ball Breaks podcast, international podcast, fan-powered. You can get involved. Come and join our group on Facebook, B-Ball Breaks. Come like the page, share, like, subscribe, all that jazz. Catch us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and all those great platforms. Once again, caballeros, adios.
Yeah. Adios.
Basketballbreaks.com. Keep it locked.
For people who who love basketball breaks, to discuss and to engage like-minded basketball international people.